Hey everyone, I'm Anu.
And I'm Fritz. Thanks for joining us today. The two of us spend our free time volunteering with a youth education organization based out of the Bay Area called Inneract Project. And we're here to showcase our journey in building connections with our community.
To understand how we got to where we are today, we thought it would be best to share where Inneract Project came from. So let's rewind the clock back 18 years to 2004 and move up the coast a bit to Seattle. Here's our founder, Maurice Woods, with a few middle schoolers huddled around a computer, learning about Photoshop and all its glory. Growing up as a kid, Mo loved to draw, tinker, and make things. But outside of his imagination and comics, he didn't know there were other examples of design around him. And he didn't get exposed to a career in design until college. As recently as 2019, only 3% of designers in the workforce identified as Black, and 7% as Hispanic. So just imagine how hard it was for Mo to find community and role models who looked like him back when he was getting started. Going back to that day in Seattle at the local community center with 3 kids huddled around Mo's computer, the essence of Inneract Project was born. 3 kids soon turned into 5, 5 turned into 10, and before long, Mo was looking for extra hands. After grad school, Mo returned to the Bay Area, and Inneract Project kept growing, where it eventually became a fully fledged nonprofit. From its humble beginnings, IP has blossomed to tackle the long-term issue of representation in design by empowering the next generation of Black, Latinx, and underrepresented designers of color. Staying true to the roots, we've continued providing free design classes to create stronger pathways into design that will help build a more inclusive workforce. We've already logged over 3,200 hours of hands-on training taught by volunteer designers and engaged with over 1,500 students across middle and high school in the Bay Area. Our bold vision is to build a global design education platform focused on Black, Latinx, and underrepresented designers of color, while centering our work around digital content and online learning, in-person courses and events, and partnerships with equity-minded designers. Collectively, our students have already engaged with over 10,000 professionals in design-related fields. That's like each of our students having 6 mentors over the course of a program. Fritz, have you had 6 mentors?
I wish. I've had like 3. I could only imagine what kind of designer I would become actually if I had 6 when I started.
I know, same here. I wish I could have 6 mentors now, but I digress. You got involved in the classroom about 4 years ago. Do you remember how you found out about IP?
Yeah, I'd been looking for a way to give back to my community and use the design skills that I had learned. So after some intense Googling one evening, I stumbled on Inneract Project's website, found their application portal, and sent in mine. And I waited. I soon realized I was hitting refresh on my inbox like I was one of Pavlov's dogs. And I'm really glad they accepted my application because I've enjoyed seeing the kids develop a keen eye for design, seeing them discover that everything around them has been designed, that they've been doing it too, and can now do it with intention. So, with the programs in full swing, we started exploring ways to build connections outside of the community. We began hosting small events like our Back to Design Nights, which were set up to create connections between students, their families, designers, and corporate partners. As awareness for IP grew, we created 2 public panels to further the discussion of ways to increase diversity in design and technology. Those events brought together folks like Kimberly Bryant, founder and CEO of Black Girls Code, Jason Maiden, founder of Superheroic, and John Maida, founder of Maida Studio, to name a few. And in 2019, we expanded our reach beyond the Bay Area with our Design Hour event, which is a series of intimate gatherings that are now online actually, where we facilitate the discussion of how diversity, inclusion, education, art, music, culture, and sports all intersect with the design. And over those few years, we've managed to host over 10 external events, brought together over 1,300 folks to further the dialogue around diversifying design. And we felt the momentum was growing. But before we knew it, 2020 was upon us, and the world stopped. We found ourselves grappling with the beginning of the pandemic, the murder of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and too many to name right now. The Black Lives Matter marches and layoffs. Layoffs that disproportionately affected Black, Latinx, and underrepresented communities. As we struggled to confront these changes, we also needed to find new ways to uplift our communities.
We worried about how early career, underrepresented designers of color would navigate a really difficult job market. At the same time, we noticed experienced designers offering their time to review portfolios and help people level up. And lots of folks were discovering Inneract Project and reaching out to get involved. Our wheels started to turn. Taking this surge of energy from the design community, we thought of a few ways to support early career designers navigating this changing landscape. Reflecting on our own experiences when we were starting out as designers, the toughest time had been getting through the interview process. Early in our careers, we didn't have a big community or guidance on how to navigate interviews.
Yeah, portfolio prep and support was useful, and that gets you visibility and maybe past the first hurdle of the recruiter screen, but the dreaded full or half-day on-site had the highest hurdles, with a portfolio review the highest of them all. And wow, is that 45, 50-minute review nerve-wracking and exhausting. I fumbled so miserably on so many, some of them still haunt me today.
Oh man, I feel you. I mean, we've all been there. It's really hard to figure out and navigate, and even more so if you're the first one to break into design.
Exactly. So we decided to focus on that very critical hurdle, the portfolio review. Let's do this. Here's our small and mighty team of three, Anu, Paulo, and I. Shout out to Paulo, who isn't here with us in person, but has been part of our core team since we started this journey. The three of us began thinking, how do we best support folks who are interviewing? So we decided to ground the work in our own experiences. We realized a recent trend amongst ourselves. We've been able to grow faster and navigate challenges better thanks to our peers, mentors, and community. And that's what we decided to double down on, connecting early career folks with experienced designers to get guidance and prepare for interviews. And that's basically how interview prep was born. Now, we had to figure out a way to get something out into the world as soon as possible. Since none of us were very confident in coding, we opted for a scrappy, low-code, and accessible option. We started with a simple Google form where mentors could create a profile of themselves. We collected emails for verification, years of experience, job title, industry, and languages spoken. And as we all know, scheduling is a bit like playing calendar Tetris. So to make sure folks could easily book time without having to send multiple emails back and forth, as well as for privacy reasons, we put together documentation for mentors on how to get it set up on Calendly for free, or create bookable slots with their own Google Calendar. Once that was set up, we added them to a public spreadsheet that mentees could access when we were ready. With the scaffolding and structure in place, the three of us, feeling pretty confident, we started spreading the word about interview prep internally, and then externally, to build our list of mentors. And once we felt we had a decent number, we reached out to our community to share the spreadsheet far and wide, so we'd reach as many underrepresented designers of color who needed the help. And my word, how it blew up. Within a few days, we surpassed 150 mentors. And over a couple of months, they had collectively hosted over 200 sessions with early career designers. And wow, that was a wild experience. Did you ever think it would mushroom so fast?
Honestly, no. It really showed me how far building something to support your community can go. as well as how much the design community supports our mission.
And this wasn't the end by miles. This was just the tip of the iceberg for us. We still had a bunch of work to do.
That's true. This is where the fun really starts. So we started by surveying mentors to see how the sessions had been going. And we got some great reviews. We were really excited then to hear from mentees, but we realized the limits of our scrappy form. We didn't really collect any mentee info because we leaned a bit too heavily into making it as quick and seamless as possible for them. But we got lucky. A few of them did reach out to us with some great feedback. Here's Marita's experience.
My name is Marita Antoinette, and I am a product designer. Originally I started as a back-end engineer and then transitioned into becoming a front-end engineer. I had designed and developed a couple of internal enterprise tools. And so it was really, really great experience, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to commit to being a product designer. And so right before COVID hit, I quit my job at Apple. COVID hit. I obviously freaked out because it was no longer like me competing locally. I was like competing globally with so many people. And so I was like, okay, crunch time. This is how I stumbled upon Inneract Project. And so I love Inneract Project. I loved all the mentors that I met. And I love Inneract Project for a few different reasons. So first, you're going to get like such a diverse set of skills in your mentors. And everybody is there for like the right reasons, and the reason being that they want to support you through your design career. And I was at the beginning, I was at the beginning in the sense that like I was for the first time creating my online portfolio, going through my first official product design presentations. And so I really needed eyes on my work. And I remember some of the best advice that was ever given to me was actually from one of the mentors. She's a product designer, and at the time she was at IDEO, and so what she said to me was, Marita, all that matters is that you can explain the tools that you use to get the job done. If you can do that, you're a designer. And she said that to me because I was questioning myself. I was like, is this the right method? Is this the right method? Am I doing this the right way? And she's like, you need to just be confident in yourself and just know whatever tool you use, that is the best and right tool, and you just get to explain it. And it really helped me build my creative product design confidence, and it's something that I always think about. And for the record, I used many mentorship tools, many online websites. I tried out boot camps. This was the best one. It's free. It's like extremely helpful. Like I said, like the people there are freaking top-notch, smart people. Like you're gonna get like the best experience with them. At the end of the day, like I'm here because of those people that poured into me. And so I really appreciate all the help that I got at Inneract Project.
Going through the mentor and mentee feedback, we realized that this was doing so much more than helping folks prepare for interviews. People were pitching new ideas, getting jobs, finding mentors, getting design feedback, as well as having mock interview sessions. We saw that we were starting to break down barriers for folks trying to get into design. So we eventually took our scrappy form to the next level that we named Uplift. But before we show you the end, let's talk about the journey of how we got here over the last year.
That year was wild, right? Designing Uplift outside of our day jobs during the pandemic.
Yeah, and not just designing, but finding engineers, working with legal, content, agencies.
Yeah, it's been a true labor of love. But before we spend too much time reflecting, Anu, how about we break it down for them?
Yeah, for sure. So to build off our Google form, we knew we needed an engineer. So we started by asking around to see if there was an engineer who wanted to volunteer with us and expand on our project. And we got connected to Teresa, and our team grew. Together, the four of us brainstormed a new name that could encompass much more than mock interviews. And after some brainstorming, we fell in love with the name Bloom.
Oh yeah, I remember that name. We really loved that name. That is, until we talked to the legal team.
Yeah, so after running an initial legal search, we realized we couldn't use Bloom, and we knew we needed help figuring out what to do. So we reached out to the naming pros at 100 Monkeys, and they were enthusiastic about our project and offered to help us out. It took a while for us to lock in the name Uplift, and to be honest, it got finalized pretty recently, and all the while, we've also been busy building out the product.
Yeah, all these things were happening in parallel. So as Teresa started getting more into the weeds with the designs, they realized we needed more engineering support. So we emailed people we knew. And through our community, we got connected with Billy, Ilakia, and Gabe. And while our new engineers were ramping up, Anu realized we needed some dope illustrations.
That's right. I mean, Fritz and I were both product designers with some illustration skills, but we knew we needed a legit illustrator to help us out. So once again, we reached back out to our network for an illustrator to bring our landing page and product to life. And luckily, we were connected to Bernice, who built off our color palette and vision and did an amazing job. And one last thing, right, Fritz?
That's right, Anu. We realized we needed content help to make sure things were just right. So once again, we asked around to find some help. And we got connected with Angelique, who helped take Uplift that extra mile. Whew. That's a wrap, right?
Yep, that's a wrap. It's taken a village for us to get to where we are today. So before we give you a sneak peek at Uplift, we just want to give a big thank you to everyone for their support, help, and patience. And now, we're excited to share with you Uplift by Inneract Project. Take it away, Fritz.
Thanks, Anu. So, Uplift will be free to use. Simply sign up and create your profile in a couple of minutes. Once that's done, you'll be able to find mentors by language, experience, and even industry. And when you found someone you'd like to connect with, book time with them right there. So, if you're early in your career and identify as an underrepresented designer of color, you should 100% sign up at upliftdesigners.com to be notified when we launch.
As we continue striving to accomplish our goal of breaking down barriers for underrepresented designers of color, you've seen us lean on our community for support. We hope we've inspired you to think about what your community needs and join us in shaping the future of design. You can follow us on social and support our work by donating to Inneract Project today. And don't forget to sign up for Uplift. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.